And is your work at the, well, I guess you kind of already answered this, but when you compare fingerprints, is that verified by another examiner in
Yes,
your laboratory?
Yes.
This is case number 254590 FT, appearances counsel.
Nate Carnes on behalf of the people.
And I'm Jeff Harrison. I'm here on behalf of Mr. Dutton. He's recently joined me at the table.
And we are here for a preliminary examination on a one-count complaint with an actual third of motor vehicle unlawful driving away. Is there any resolution in this case?
There is not.
Any preliminary matters?
None from our side, Your Honor.
Your first witness, Mr. Carnes.
Thank you, Your Honor. I'm going to call Miss Kimberly Kern. I'm also going to treat my officer in charge.
All right. Mr. Carnes, whenever you're ready.
Good afternoon. Can you please state your name and spell it for the record?
Yes, Kimberly Diane Kern, Kimberley, Dianne, Krn.
What happened on October 15th of 2024?
We got a call at the office that we needed to take a vehicle to take some supplies to a customer's place. Most of our vehicles were out of town due to hurricane. So I went outside and looked for my son's truck to use that to get some equipment to a customer. I looked around, I did not see it. I went back in, asked people who are working, do you know where his truck was? And they're like, well, it's out in the parking lot. So then I called my son, who is out of town in Florida, and said, did you leave your car in the parking? He's like, yeah, Mom, I did. So I went back out there, I looked again, it was odd. And then I called a 911, not emergency.
Okay.
And then had them come out.
Okay. Can you describe this vehicle?
Yeah, it is a 2015 Dodge Ram. It's navy blue.
And you were just telling me, I think that you called 911.
Mhm.
What happened after that?
Then state police trooper came out and gave him the information, told him what I knew of what with the vehicle. I gave him the registration to give him the VIN number and the plate number off that was on the VIN or on the registration, I should say.
Where were the keys to this vehicle prior? I mean, obviously you don't know where it is at this time, but
Yeah.
let's go back the day before. To the best of your knowledge, where were the keys to this
To the best
vehicle?
of my knowledge, well, I wouldn't have known where they were, but
Then that's
Okay.
fine. I'll withdraw that question.
Okay.
Thank you. Is there any surveillance video of the place where the vehicle was parked?
no.
Okay.
It's a family-owned business.
Okay. Thank you. I don't have any other questions for you right now.
Mr. Harrison.
The events you described were on the 15th of October,
I
the
believe so.
24th? Okay.
Yeah.
You may have said this, and I don't know if I caught it or if it was clear.
Uh-huh.
That's the first day you realized the truck wasn't there.
Correct.
Okay. So you don't know when it may have disappeared from your location.
No, because we, I think then pulled out, so we own a hurricane business,
Yeah,
so we get called out. So my son would have gotten that call and he would have left the day before.
and your son, his name's Austin,
Yes,
and he was in Florida, right?
correct.
So you had to call him to even say, hey, is there any chance you left your truck up here when you went to Florida?
No, I was making sure he hadn't left it like at his house or
Right.
something like that.
Right,
But not
left it
before,
somewhere other
yeah.
than, is it safe to call this location your yard?
Yeah, it's a family business. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
At the business, you
Yeah,
didn't
right.
know for sure if you had left it there.
that's where it was. I didn't know if he left it at his house
Okay,
because it, he left the night in the night.
okay, all right. But the 15th is when you kind of went, huh? There should be a truck here and there
Yes,
isn't.
yes.
Okay, thank you, nothing further.
Mr. Carnes, or, yeah, Mr. Carnes.
When was the last time you saw the truck prior to all this, if you remember?
I mean, maybe the day before or I honestly don't know. Austin doesn't live at home, so.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Perfectly great. Thank you. I have no further questions.
Anderson,
Nothing further, Your Honor. Thank you.
may this witness be excused,
Yes, Your Honor.
permanent or temporary?
Permanent.
Ms. Kern, you're free to go about your
Thank
day.
you, sir.
Thank you. Your next witness?
Your Honor, the people call Austin Kern.
Mr. Kern, you'll make your way right up here next to me. Before you have a seat, if you'll turn and face me and raise your right hand. You solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give in this matter will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
Yes.
Okay, put your hand down. Whenever you're ready, Mr. Kearns.
Can you please state your name and spell it for the record?
Austin Kern, AUSTINKERN.
What, if any, vehicles did you own in early October of 2024?
It's a Ram 2015, 1500.
What color is this Ram?
It's a blue.
And what, if anything, happened to that vehicle that brings you into court today?
So I ended up buying the vehicle. Then 2 months later, I went on a hurricane. And during that time I was on a hurricane, my truck was stolen from our building. And that's kind of why we are here today.
Do you remember approximately when this happened?
I do not know approximately. Could not answer that for you because I was out of town. So no, I cannot.
Do you know when you were out of town?
I know it's been sure October. I was out there for at least a month out of that time.
Okay.
Um,
Was this October 2 months ago or October?
yeah, 2024. Okay. Yeah, I was out in Florida for 7 months, so.
Okay. Prior to this vehicle going missing, where did you leave the keys?
The keys were in the truck, but the truck was parked right in front of our office. Didn't really think any of it, living out in Buckley, but now I do.
Okay. Where's this office located? Think. Do you know what county?
I live in Wexford.
Did you give anyone permission to drive that vehicle?
No. Nope, and if there was anyone that would have been permission, it was in my family, and they were all with me, so, no.
Is there anyone who would have thought they might have had permission to drive that
No,
vehicle?
no, we're pretty secluded, my family, so no.
Okay. Have you seen this truck since you were out of town back in approximately October 2024?
I have seen it when they found it in the ditch, in Manton, 2 weeks later, I ended up getting it back. That's the only other time I've had, ever since I did get it back.
Okay. What condition was it in after you got it back?
There's a decent amount of damage to it, obviously a lot of dings on the paint job, a lot of trash was in there. Basically, insurance company kind of totaled it out. It wasn't in the best condition at all. There was found a lot of stuff in there. Just basically kind of destroyed on that. It was drivable still, but between the body and inside was definitely pretty big up.
Were there any items missing from inside the vehicle?
I couldn't remember everything that was in there, but there was a VR headset. It's called an Oculus. That was in there in the back seat. That is obviously no longer there.
Anything else?
I can't come on top of my head, but that was kind of the for sure thing that was in there.
Can you describe this Oculus headset? What is it?
Yeah, so it's guess for the Metaverse, whatever. It's a headset that goes over top of your head. It's white, and it basically you can play games on it. It's like it's a VR headset. So you can play games on it and do all the different stuffs on it, but it's just basically a visual thing that you see when you put it on.
Okay. So when you say play games on it, what kind of games?
I see, like when you wanna, I guess, be like somewhat a quarterback for the NFL, you can act like that. There's you can gamble on it, like a VR. You're kind of basically you're a person, but obviously you are like a person in a different game.
Okay, so this is a video game?
Yeah, it's literally, I mean, you become first person into the game.
Okay, thanks. Thank you. I don't have any further questions for you at this time, but just stay seated. All right, thanks.
Mr. Harrison?
You went to Florida, you think sometime in October 24.
Yeah, so that's hurricane season. Hurricane
Yeah,
season starts
yeah.
September, October on that
That's
time.
what you do.
Yep.
And when you left your truck, this blue Dodge Ram, you left it parked in front of the offices for this business,
Yeah, yep.
your family's business?
Yep.
Okay. So Kimberly's your mom, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so she told us the first time she noticed it missing was the 15th of October. Would you have any reason to argue with that?
No.
Okay. I mean, you trust what your mom said, but does that date make sense? to you?
Yes, because that would have been around the time, again, I would have been in Florida.
Okay.
During that time, there's obviously a lot going on. The natural.
No, and you're busy
disaster.
working, you're not really,
Yeah.
I got you.
Yeah.
A lot of work to do too. Thank you. Nothing further.
Mr. Kearns,
I have no further questions, Your Honor.
may this witness be excused?
Yes, Your Honor, permanently.
Sir, you're free to go about your day. Next witness, Mr. Kearns.
Thank you, Your Honor. Please call, Trooper Pat.
Hold on. Trooper, do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give in this matter will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
You may have a seat. Whenever you're ready, Mr. Kearns.
Thank you. Can you please, I'll give you a minute there, sorry, jumping the gun. Can you please state your name and spell it for the record?
Trooper David Patton, Pavidipatten,
Where are you employed?
Michigan State Police.
Were you working on October 15th of 2024?
Yes, I was.
What happened during that shift that brings you into court today?
I was dispatched up to Buckley. I believe the address is 710. For report of a vehicle being stolen. When I got there, I was advised by Kimberly Kern that her son's 2015 Dodge Ram pickup was navy blue, was no longer on the property. She advised that the last known time anybody saw the vehicle on the property was been the day before, on the 14th, and it was gone by the time on 8 a.m. on the 15th. She provided the information for the vehicle. The plate was Edward Union Mary 7241 for the vehicle. Once after I was done speaking with them, the vehicle was, I wasn't able to find any tracks or evidence on scene. I entered it inside of our lien system and it's stolen.
Did you receive any kind of updates about this truck?
I did, yes. So on October 24th of 2024, I was advised, Sergeant Wiggins from Wexford County Sheriff's Department located the truck, and when I returned back to work on the 26th, the truck was at our post where it was examined for any evidence. And while it was being examined, there was paper and mail inside of the bed of the truck belonging to an address on Cadillac Highway just in the Manistee. I'm not 100% sure on the numerics. That's written in my report.
Okay. But it was in, sounds like it was in Manistee County?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. On Cadillac Highway.
Yes, or 115 technically, but
Okay. And what did you do after discovering this address?
ultimately I went to that address. I don't remember the exact date. I believe it was November 6th of 2024 or around that time. And once I went to that address, I made contact with Russell Dutton at that address where he originally did not identify himself, but after talking to him, he did identify himself as Russell Dutton.
Okay. Do you see the person who identified themselves as Russell Dutton at that address back in November of 2024 in the courtroom today?
Yes, I did.
Can you tell me where he's seated and something that he's wearing?
He is sitting right over there at the defense table wearing the orange jumpsuit.
Your Honor, may the record reflect the witness has identified the defendant?
Mr. Harrison, it should still reflect.
What did you discuss with the defendant back in November of 2024?
I discussed with him the truck. I showed him a picture of that truck that was provided to me by Kimberly. And he did advise that it looked like his friend's truck. And then after speaking with him, that's when he decided to come in and identify himself as Russell. He said that besides seeing his friend, that might be his friend's truck, I didn't say anything, meant to anything or taking the vehicle.
Okay. Thank you. I don't have any further questions for you right now. I do plan on calling this witness again at a later time.
Sir Harrison,
I don't have any questions for the trooper at this time.
All right, Trooper, you may step down. Mr. Carnes?
People call Trooper Burnside.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give in this matter will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do, sir.
You may have a seat. Whenever you're ready, Mr. Carnes.
Thank you. Can you please state your name and spell it for the record?
That's Trooper Michael Burnside, MICHAELBURNSID.
And where are you employed?
The Cadillac State Police Post, Michigan State Police.
Were you working on October 26th of 2025?
Yes, sir, I was.
And what did you do during that shift that brings you into court today?
At the beginning of the shift, I believe it was Trooper Patton contacted me to ask me to help him process a vehicle that was allegedly stolen.
Okay. Do you remember what kind of vehicle this was?
It was a big pickup truck, blue. I believe it was a Dodge. I can't remember that for sure.
And what evidence were you able to collect?
So I was able to locate, I believe, 5 fingerprints and a palm print, 2 of which were inside the vehicle. The remaining were on the outside of the vehicle.
Okay.
And then there was also some DNA items in the bed of the truck that we did not collect because of the nature of the crime. DNA would not be processed. And then there was some physical envelopes, things like that, names on it.
Okay. Can you explain for me briefly just why DNA evidence would not be processed in this suspected crime?
Just because of the nature of the crime, it wasn't like an assaultive crime or anything like that.
Are you trained in the proper procedures for collecting fingerprints?
Yes.
And did you follow that training when you collected fingerprints on this occasion?
Yes, it is.
How many prints were you able to collect?
I believe it was 5 fingerprints and 1 palm print, like a part of a palm.
And can you explain to me how you collect fingerprints?
So there's a lot of different processes for collecting fingerprints. On a vehicle like that, I chose a white latent lip powder because of the dark color. I did what I call a cloud covering. I use a cotton, like a ball of cotton and a large amount of powder, and I kind of shake it like you can picture a door pillar, go across the top of the door pillar, let that powder run down the whole panel, the whole window side. That will grab a hold of any recent or any current fingerprints on it. And then I'll go back through with a light colored or a light wisp fingerprint brush and finish up or bring out the detail in those prints. Obviously, you look for, areas where would frequently be touched.
What, if anything, did you do to identify the individual 5 fingerprints and what did you tell me again?
And a partial palm print.
In this instance?
What did I do to identify that?
Yeah, to identify, to differentiate them so you don't
Oh,
mix
so
them
I
up,
tagged,
sorry.
so I started, I believe, at the door pillar, and I labeled the first print would be print number 1. And I just label them, this is print number 1, this is print number 2, print number 3, print number 4, 5, and 6, etc.
Okay.
So I just keep them in a numeric order.
How did you document these prints and where they were taken from?
So once I locate a print, it's just kind of personal choice where you start on the vehicle. Once I locate a print, I finish it up with a brush. It's a good enough print that I think it's usable. Then I'll tag it. I'll make a little tag with a centimeter measuring thing on it. I'll tag it print number 1. I'll kind of print out, where the location of that print was at and the case number of the complaint. And I'll stick that right next to the print, photograph it there in place. If it's a good quality print, I'll get a high quality close up, we call it comparison print. Level photograph.
All right. For the record, I'm approaching the witness with what has been marked as People's Proposed Exhibit 1. Do you recognize that photograph?
I do.
And what is it?
That's print number 3 of the prints that I located. That print, I believe, was located on the upper area of the tailgate above the, above and maybe just to the right of the handle.
Did you take this picture?
I did take that picture.
And does it fairly and accurately depict the fingerprint as you found it back in October of 2024?
Yes, sir.
Your Honor, at this time, I would move to admit People's Proposed Exhibit 1.
Mr. Harrison,
Couple of quick voir dire.
certainly.
Trooper, you described that it's print number 3. I was a little confused because then somebody said, I think it was Nate said, Mr. Carnes rather, said fingerprint. That's actually a palm print. Is that correct?
No, print number 4 is the.
4 is the palm print. Okay. So what you have there is a picture of a fingerprint.
Yeah, it's actually 2 fingerprints right side by side.
Okay. Yeah, I noticed there were 2 different impressions. I was gonna ask you that
Yeah,
next.
it's print number 3 though.
Got you. Okay, I'm good. Thank you.
Any objection?
No, I think the foundation's appropriate.
People's 1 is received.
Thank you. And I think we discussed this earlier, but if I can just direct the court's attention
Have you,
here.
Mr. Carnes, have you gotten that marked yet?
I did.
Okay.
It's been marked, yes, thank you.
Mr. Harrison, are you able to see?
Can you,
I have seen it. I can see where he's gesturing. That's
All
fine.
so what's the significance of that?
That's the number. That's just where I typically tag them, print 1, 2, 3, etc.
Okay,
And for the record, that's the numeral 3 right next to the centimeter mark.
Yes.
thank you. And then what is this number here that starts with a 7?
That number is the incident number, Trooper Patton's incident number for this complaint.
Okay.
On this particular case, I did a sub to his report. I didn't pull a new number like an evidence type number.
Okay, all right, thank you. I have no further questions of this witness. I would ask to publish the exhibit to the court.
Mr. Harrison?
Yeah, just real quick. Can I get that back, Judge?
You may.
Thank you. On this exhibit, you used a term that I want to check out. You said something to do with a high quality photograph.
Yes.
Can you explain that to me?
Yeah, so I have an evidence tech camera that's a Canon EOS,
Super fancy.
super fancy camera. I also have a macro lens that I can position the camera, you know, foot away, 1.5 feet away, and it's like a mega zoom. What a comparison photo means is they have the lifted print that gets sent to the lab.
I got you.
But they can also use that photograph to actually compare it to a print. It's that detailed.
I got you. So when you say the lifted print, do you apply some kind of medium over the powder?
Yes, I typically use a hinge lifter.
Which, and that's some kind of plastic like you see on
Yep, it's like a
TV?
clear plastic tape
Okay,
that's got a backer built into it. You open it up, you place that over the print, and then you peel it off, and it lifts that powder print onto the tape.
okay,
And
so,
then it gets
so the
closed.
photograph is not a substitute for that?
No,
It is
it's
in
a-
addition
In
to.
addition to,
Okay, thank you. Nothing further. I'm sorry.
Carnes?
No further questions.
May this witness be excused?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you, Trooper. Your next witness, Mr. Carnes?
Thank you, Your Honor. The people recall Trooper Patton. And just for the record, the Trooper Burnside is permanently excused, so I told him he can now stay in here, that I don't plan on calling him again.
All right. Trooper, just a reminder, you're still under oath.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Carnes?
Thank you. And for the record, I'm approaching the witness with People's Exhibit 1. Trooper, do you recognize that number there starting with 7-1?
Yes, sir.
And what is that?
That is my complaint number for this incident.
What, if anything, did you receive from Trooper Burnside in late October of 2024?
I received the prints that were lifted from the vehicle, the 2015 Trans 1500. And after I received those, I properly put them inside of our Cadillac Post Temp. After I properly packaged them, I put them inside of our post locker, where typically once property is properly packaged, it gets put inside of a locker with a lock on it until our property sergeant's able to take it out and then take it to our labs for processing.
Okay. And who is your property sergeant?
At that time, it was Sergeant Hackett.
And how did you label these prints in your report, in your investigation?
So due to the vehicle being my property item number 1, or it being for the original complaint and it was stolen, that would be property item number 1. The first print, and it would be stated in my property item number 2 is lift 1, property item 3 would be lift 2, and so on and so forth, just due to the truck vehicle that was stolen being property item number 1. We can't flip property items in our reports after we already started one.
Okay, so. Okay, I've got that. So, and then you started with the first 3 then. Was that true of all the lifts? If we just add current number,
Yes,
that's the.
it was one after it, so it would go on so on and so forth. So lift 4 would be listed as property item number 5, lift 6, all the way up until all the lifts, they would be one number behind due to the truck being listed as property item number 1.
Thank you. I have no further questions for you at this time.
Mr. Harris?
Again, just terminology. You're talking about a lift. What does a lift mean in this context?
So a latent print lift, my apologies.
Okay,
So the latent prints that were lifted from the vehicle that Trooper Burnside had taken from that.
the plastic thing that he was talking about, that's what you would call a lift.
Correct, yes.
Okay, thank you, nothing further.
Mr. Carnes?
I have no further questions of this witness.
Trooper, you may step down. The next witness, Mr. Carnes?
Your Honor, the people call forensic scientist John Davis. I think he should be joining us by Zoom.
Yes. Mr. Davis, are you able to hear and see me?
Yes, I am.
All right, you've just been called as a witness by the prosecution, so if you please raise your right hand, I'll swear you in.
Okay.
Do you swear or affirm the testimony you give in this matter will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
All right, you may go ahead, Mr. Carnes.
Can you please state your name and spell it for the record?
Jonathan Davis, John Ahan, Davis, Davis.
And where are you employed?
I'm employed by the Michigan State Police at the Grayling Forensic Lab in the latent print unit.
What is your position there?
I'm a forensic scientist in the latent print unit.
And how long have you been employed in that capacity?
Just a little over 4 years.
What is your educational background?
I have a degree in forensic chemistry from Lake Superior State University. I also have a few certificates from Florida International University for crime scene investigation and crime scene photography.
What training have you received in the comparison and identification of fingerprints and latent prints?
I received extensive training in the comparison of latent fingerprints and identification of latent prints through the Michigan State Police. The training program is extensive, taking on average 2.5 to 3 years with thousands of comparisons, learning how to process all types of evidence for latent prints, and learning the comparison methodology to compare latent prints.
Do you hold any certifications?
I'm not certified.
Are you a member of any professional organizations?
Yes, I'm a member of the IAI, the International Association for Identification.
How do you remain current with new techniques and developments in the field of fingerprint comparison and identification?
Aside from the annual meeting that we have, an APHIS Users Conference, which is state and local agencies talking about the latest updates in APHIS technology, I am subscribed to IAI's Journal of Forensic Identification that I receive quarterly.
And do you read that quarterly subscription?
Yes, I do.
And these annual meetings, can you describe what happens there?
Yes, we talk about the latest updates for APHIS, which is the computer database that we enter unidentified latent prints in to generate candidates. Talk about the latest updates, and it's a meeting where local agencies can communicate and collaborate on that.
Approximately how many latent print comparisons have you conducted in your career?
I estimate several thousands.
Have you previously testified in court as an expert concerning fingerprint identification?
No, I have not.
What methodology do you use in your work?
I use the ACE-V methodology.
And can you describe that for me?
Yes, ACE-V is a four-step process, the first step being analysis. During analysis, I look at the latent print separately to determine if there is enough information in the latent print to move forward in the comparison process. I also look at what information I'm going to use in the comparison process and any other factors that may affect the comparison process, such as areas that are unclear or any movement, or we call that distortion. Next, I will look at the known impressions separately and determine if there are any missing areas that haven't been completely recorded. That is the analysis step. The second step in the process is C, or comparison, where I will compare side by side the latent print and the known fingerprint card and look for any correspondence or discrepancies between the two. The E is evaluation, where I will where I will weigh the correspondence and discrepancies between the latent print and the known impressions. And the final step, V, is verification, where another competent examiner will independently conduct ACE and come to their own conclusion.
Is that methodology, ACE-V, as you've just described it, generally accepted within the scientific community of fingerprint analysis?
Yes, it is.
And is your work at the, well, I guess you kind of already answered this, but when you compare fingerprints, is that verified by another examiner in
Yes,
your laboratory?
Yes.
Your Honor, I would, go ahead,
Go
I'm
ahead.
sorry.
All identification and exclusion decisions are verified.
Your Honor, at this time, I would move to qualify the witness as an expert in fingerprint identification.
Mr. Harrison?
Well, I have a couple of objections. He has never been determined to be an expert by any court, by his own admission, and he is, quote, not certified. I don't know what that means. That sounds to me like it's a threshold type qualification for him to be able to testify in court, for his results to be accepted by the judicial process. Lacking in those two key pieces of, what's the word? I would object to him rendering an expert opinion in this matter.
Mr. Carnes?
Your Honor, the witness did identify, he's done thousands of comparisons. He underwent training with the Michigan State Police for 2.5 to 3 years. He attends annual meetings where they discuss updates and new methodologies in their field. He subscribes to a quarterly journal. Every expert has their first time being qualified. I think it's appropriate for this to be Mr. Davis's first time. I think he has demonstrated his expertise in this field.
Mr. Harrison.
I continue to rely on the fact that by his own admission and as what apparently came as a surprise to Mr. Carnes, he is not certified. That's an issue that I think requires a lot more exploration than we have right now. Based on what we know right now, he is not certified. He's never been declared to be an expert or held out to be an expert. I've watched several 100,000 TV shows. I don't consider myself an expert on television, directing, writing, producing, despite my level of involvement in that medium. I don't have the appropriate certifications to be an expert in that regard, and neither does this witness.
Mr. Davis, what does it mean to be, well, one, is there such a thing as a certification in your field? And if there is, what does it mean to be certified?
Yes, there is a few certifications in the field. Currently in the Michigan State Police, there is nobody certified by this certification by the IAI. This certification, if you are certified, then typically you will handle tougher cases. And it is a credential that nobody in the Michigan State Police Latent Print Division has currently, but I'm exploring to obtain that certification.
All right. For purposes of the preliminary examination, I will allow the defendant to testify as an expert in fingerprint identification.
Mr. Davis, what, if any, analysis did you perform of evidence received from the Michigan State Police regarding the suspect Russell Dutton?
I received 6 latent lifts, or the lab received 6 latent lifts from Sergeant Hackman on December 4th, 2024. I pulled out those lifts from our property room on September 11th of this year, and I analyzed those 6 lifts for latent prints.
Based on your analysis and comparison, were you able to arrive at a conclusion about any of the prints that were submitted?
Yes, I was. On latent lift number 3, or item number 3, there were 2 latent prints of comparison value, and I ID'd latent print 3A to the fingerprint card bearing the name Russell Kevin Dutton of the right middle finger. And latent print 3B on item number 3, I identified the latent print to the fingerprint card bearing the name Russell Kevin Dutton of the right ring finger.
Okay. I think I know, I think I understand this, but just to clarify, how is it that latent lift 3 is split into 3A and 3B?
Yes, so each latent print gets its own item number, its own latent print number. So because there were 2 latent prints on item number 3, I had to split them up into 2.
What specific data did you rely on to form the opinion that latent prints 3A and 3B were a match to Russell Dutton?
I relied on the macroscopic features, which include the ridge flow and pattern type, and I relied on the microscopic features, or the individual characteristics present in the latent print.
And what method did you use to analyze these prints?
I used the ACE-V method.
And did you do this completely by eye, or did you use some kind of computer software?
Yes.
Can you explain how you did that?
Yes, so I scanned the lifts in and photographed the lifts in this instant into our authenticated digital asset management system, which tracks the chain of custody for each image. I then process the images in Adobe Photoshop, which is what we do for every case, to adjust for contrast. Then I performed my analysis, picking out the characteristics that I used, and then I went into the comparison.
Based on your training and experience, what is your opinion as to whether the defendant made the latent print in 3A and 3B?
Based on my training and experience, I would not expect to see this arrangement of friction ridge features present in another individual. So I conclude that latent print 3A and 3B were made by the fingerprint card bearing the name Russell Kevin Dutton.
Where did you obtain the fingerprint card of known prints of Russell Dutton?
I obtained new fingerprint cards of Russell Kevin Dutton from the MSP archive.
Thank you, Mr. Davis. I don't have any other questions at this time.
Mr. Harrison?
So this wasn't just a random act, was it? You didn't just randomly pick out Russell Kevin Dutton. You were told that he was the suspect in this case?
I received a list of 4 parties of interest along with the victim.
Okay.
I
Hey,
compared.
Russell- Go ahead.
Yep.
I'm sorry.
It's
hard on Zoom. I can't tell when you're done speaking. I'm sorry.
Yes, yep. So I noticed the pattern type and the macroscopic features, and I compared these latent prints to Russell Kevin Dutton, the fingerprint card bearing the name Russell Kevin Dutton.
Okay, so there were 3 other sets of known prints that you had?
Yes, there were.
Okay, and out of those 3, it was most likely that this was Mr. Dutton's fingerprint.
Are you talking about latent prints 3A and 3B?
Indeed, I am.
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah,
you said you wouldn't expect, go ahead, sorry.
Yep. I would not expect to see this arrangement of friction-rich features present in another source.
But you don't know that because you didn't compare it to anything else.
I did not have to compare the latent prints to the other subjects.
Based on your extensive knowledge, training, and
Those
things of that
were,
nature.
because I identified a fingerprint card bearing the name Russell Kevin Dutton, had preliminary exclusions which are not reported to the other subjects.
So you didn't compare it to anything else. You just looked at the card for Russell Kevin Dutton.
I looked through, we have a technique called smart searching where you don't go in and look at the microscopic features right away, but you look at the overall pattern type and ridge flow. And right away, I was able to hone in on the fingerprint card with those characteristics.
So the answer to my yes or no question was, those latent prints were compared only to the fingerprint card bearing the name of Russell Kevin Dutton.
That is correct.
Okay, thank you. And lo and behold, they matched. That wasn't a question, I apologize. Nothing further, Your Honor.
Mr. Carnes?
No further questions, Your Honor.
Mr. Davis, I have a couple questions for you. Did any of your other prints match known prints of your suspects?
No, they did not. I reached inconclusive decisions, which there are a few reasons for reaching inconclusive. One can be due to a lack of quantity or quality of data in the latent print. And the other reason for reaching inconclusive is due to a lack of quantity or quality in the known impressions. And for all 4 subjects, I reached inconclusive due to both of those reasons for the other 2 latent prints. So if more known impressions were submitted for all 4 subjects, then I could possibly reach a different conclusion.
And those other subjects that you had, did you pull those prints from the archives as well?
Oh, the fingerprint cards?
Yes.
Yeah, if the fingerprint cards were not submitted, which I don't know off the top of my head, if they were, without consulting my notes, which I can do that if you would like.
No, that's fine. That's,
Okay.
um,
Then I
All
would
right.
have got them from the archive, yes.
okay. And then my next question, and I think my last question is, did you receive any type of, incident report number or case ID number tied to this case when you
Yes, I
received the
did.
prints?
Yes,
You know
I
what
did.
that number, do you know what that number was?
May I look at the notes to refresh my memory?
Any objection, counsel?
No objection.
No, Your Honor.
You may.
Okay, I'm ready. My memory
All
is
right.
refreshed.
Okay,
Incident number 71-3486-24.
all right, thank you. Mr. Carnes, does that raise any additional questions?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Harrison?
It does, and it may just be my own confusion at this point because my notes are goofy. Mr. Davis, am I correct in assuming that the only set of lifts that you were able to make a determination on in this case was item 3 and 3A and 3B?
That is correct. To make
And there were
an
six-
identification decision.
Okay, and there were 6 total lifts in this package that you received from the
Yes,
state police?
yes, there were. Yes, there were.
Okay, thank you. Nothing further.
Mr. Carnes,
No further questions.
may this witness be excused?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you, Mr. Davis. You are free to go about your day. Thank you.
Thank you.
Your next witness, Mr. Carnes?
Your Honor, the people have no more proofs.
Mr. Harrison?
No proofs today, Your Honor.
Argument, Mr. Carnes?
Thank you, Your Honor. I do ask the court to bind over the defendant as to count 1, unlawful driving away of a motor vehicle. I think that people have shown that this crime was committed by certainly probable cause with the testimony of Kimberly Hearn that the vehicle was missing. She called around, there was no explanation for it. And then Austin's testimony, he didn't allow anyone to borrow this vehicle. And then when he finally got it back from the state police, it had been damaged. I think that shows, and then we have the fingerprint lift recovered by Trooper Burnside, given to Trooper Patton and then sent to the Michigan State Police off the tailgate of this vehicle. And that was just identified as a match to the defendant who was at the address that we heard Trooper Patton testify about that was found on some mail that was in the vehicle. He went to that address and defendant Russell Dutton, who did identify himself to the trooper, was at that address. I would also ask the court to bind the defendant over on an added count of larceny from a vehicle. We did hear testimony from Austin Kern that he had left Oculus headset, a video gaming system, which I think qualifies as a computer or an electronic device, which is in the larceny from a motor vehicle statute. That would be Michigan Criminal Jury Instruction 23.5. And certainly we had Mr. Kern's testimony that this vehicle was taken without consent, and then this item removed from it clearly without consent as well, and clearly it had been moved. And the Mr. Kern has been permanently deprived of the property. So I'd ask the court to bind the defendant over on both of those counts. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Harrison.
I don't see any way this case can be bound over on this evidence. What they've proven at most was that Mr. Dutton may have touched the tailgate of this vehicle. That's it. No one saw, they don't even know exactly when it was taken. No one saw him driving it away. That's what the name of the crime is, unlawful driving away. It was recovered in a ditch that was not at an address where he lived. There was some piece of mail that identified someone at an address where he was present. That's it. There's no corroboration of any of the necessary elements of this crime. Nothing. As far as the larceny from a vehicle, that wasn't in the initial report. I'm not quibble about that. He did testify to. We never recovered anything. No one can determine that Mr. Dutton ever had possession of this allegedly stolen item, nor can they of the allegedly stolen truck. There were prints taken from several areas of the vehicle, including the interior. The only one that seems to be present here was a fingerprint on the back tailgate of this truck. That's wholly insufficient evidence to support any of the elements of this crime. It doesn't even put him in possession of the vehicle. I'm sorry, Your Honor, I lost my page. They have to prove that one of the elements is they have to prove that he took possession and drove it away. There is also an intentional element here that no evidence at all was even suggested about. There's simply not enough here to connect all of the dots that need to be connected here on either the charged crime or the proposed charge of larceny from a vehicle. If something was taken, who did it? Well, we don't know, and that's a pretty important part of that equation too. Thank you.
Mr. Carnes, in rebuttal.
No, Your Honor, thank you.
Counsel, refresh my memory, because my notes indicate that the testimony was that there was mail in the truck from the 115 or the Cadillac Highway, but was there testimony as to who that mail actually belonged to? I did not have that in my notes.
I don't think there was.
All right, the court, as everybody knows, the standard of proof that the court has before it for preliminary examinations is probable cause. The court finds that the prosecution has not met their burden today in showing that the defendant was the person who unlawfully drove away the motor vehicle. What the court relies on in finding that is that there were fingerprints located on the motor vehicle, one print matching the defendant. When questioned, the defendant stated that it was his friend's vehicle. There was testimony that there were 3 other persons that the forensic scientist was comparing prints to, but it didn't come out as to who those prints belonged to or what connection those persons had to the motor vehicle. Additionally, there was testimony that the mail found in the vehicle brought them to the house on Cadillac Highway or 115, but there was no testimony indicating who that mail belonged to. So for those reasons, I do not believe it's sufficient enough. Nexus has been shown tying the defendant to the actual theft of the vehicle. Perhaps he was in the vehicle, not tying him to the theft. Because we can't tie him to the theft, I also cannot tie him to the theft of the Oculus. So the court will dismiss the case without prejudice, meaning that it can be brought back again with the presentation of some additional testimony. Anything else for the record, counsel? Mr. Carnes, here is your exhibit.
Thank you, Art.
Hey, thanks for watching. Please do let us know in the comments what you thought of this video. If you'd like to support what we do here, the best way to do it is to pick up some of our merch. You can find it at courtroomfiles.com.